So imagine you working at a job you don't even like, and then your boss comes up to you and says you need to be more productive. And in an effort to become more productive so you can get your 3% bonus at the end of the year, they're going to attach a secret big brother, which ain't really a secret because it's basically a camera that detects how long you've been sitting, standing, and doing your job. Keep in mind, you're not over here making $1 million a week. You're literally working at the register. Yeah, that's right. You're on the cashier register, and you have to stand for 8 hours in one spot, even if the store is completely empty. And you thinking to yourself, oh, I'll pop a squat while I wait for a customer to come in. Not happening, because your boss uses that robot that is now monitoring your movements and seeing how many times you look at your phone, how many times you're looking at the customer, and sitting down to dictate your productivity level. And he determines the reason why you didn't get your full 3% bonus is because you spent more time sitting than you did standing, even though he could also use that same big brother organization to realize that there wasn't enough patients in there for workers or customers in there for you to actually be able to do your job in an effective way. And now he wears his underwear on the inside and they in a bunch, and you out here got holes in your underwear because you can't buy new ones because you're not getting paid enough, and them stunks still in a bunch. So I'm here to talk about the crippling infrastructure that is our work environment, and the fact of the matter is our bosses want us to be robots, and it's just not going to happen. Clap it. It's just not gonna happen. You're asking for too much. You're asking for too much. Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Hero. This is Coding with Strangers, and I want to tell you, go to the pizza party. Today we had a pizza party at work. I loved it. And if you're probably sitting here wondering, what are you talking about? Go watch this video that I linked in the comment section below or in the description. It talks about the journey of going to the pizza party. It's worth it. But we want to talk a little bit about your boss wants you back in office, and this surveillance tech could be waiting for you. The whole back to work movement is really something everyone is definitely having their ears perked up as. I think 2 million, or I want to say 20 million, but I feel like 2 million is a more appropriate word. Federal workers are being forced to come back into office. And for a lot of those employees coming back to office, they're going to be in for a rude awakening, as a lot of them haven't been in office dating back to before COVID, and some have never had to report to office because of the nature of their work. For example, who is somebody that probably shouldn't come into work every day? Someone who deals heavily with government secrets, and they have to work from a disclosed area. So bringing them into a cubicle type setting where anyone has access to look over their shoulder, or that they can't secure this information, becomes very problematic. Exposing them to situations where they can have to travel with expensive things. As people commute here and there, things get stolen, people get robbed, people forget stuff, people get broken, people hack into stuff. There's so many things that happen, and while this is an obscure amount of things, it just increases the risk, right? And if we're in the business of security and trying to protect and make things more interesting, I think we should do what's easier, even if it's not always the right thing, right? I think a lot about me and my time in coming into work. I, for the first time in my job ever, have, like, since working from home, actually want to go in once a week. I think the hybrid schedule is what most people would agree to. And I completely hear people who never want to go into the office either again. Even going into work is still a drag because there's a process to it. But I relish in that drag because of the time I spent in the hospital, and it just reminds me of that, right? But I made a conscious decision to go to the office, even though me going to the office is counterproductive to my productivity. What do I mean? I explained to my boss that literally every time I come in, or you request me to come in, you're going to get me later, because I can because of the travel time, I can only show up at this time, and then because of the travel time again, I have to leave at this time. And my boss was okay with that. And it wasn't because They just had a hard on to get me in the office. They understand that when I am in the office, that is a time for collaboration, in-face meetings, and the nature of my work, I do really well with an audience in front of me. So I totally get that, and I respect that. But the fact of the matter is, that's still a relationship that me and my boss have, right? We came to an agreement, and I would wonder to say, in this article we're about to read, there's a bunch of people who don't have that type of relationship. At the end of the day, the reason why you hate your job is because the person who you have to take instructions from, you don't fuck with. And I'm not saying you gotta like your boss, because I don't. But I am saying that I do fuck with him because he understands what we're here to do. We're here to work. I want to get paid, but more importantly, I want to get paid. There's a problem I want to solve. And inherently, as you get older, I don't know if maybe this does happen. No one ever dreams of labor. You shouldn't dream of labor, but you should dream of solving a problem. And everyone on my team wants to solve this problem, and that's why I rock with them. That's why I like coming to work, because every day I get to work with the brightest people in the world trying to figure out how to help people. That's a great cause. And that's a great reason to wake up and deal with the smelly person on the train, but I digress. Let's talk about the people who don't have something to wake up for. Scan the online. Brochures of companies who sell workplace monitoring tech, and you'd think the average American worker was renegade, poised to take their employer down at the next opportunity. Nearly half of the U.S. employees admit to time theft. Damn. Time theft? Well, is it time theft? Okay, I mean, that's their admission. Hey, that's their truth. Biometric readers for enhanced accuracy offers staff benefits in a controlled way with vending machine access. What is this article talking about? A new way. I know I'm dyslexic, but I can comprehend. I don't even understand what I just read there. A new wave of return to office mandates have arrived since the new year, including a J.P. Morgan Chase leading advertiser agency, WPP, and Amazon. Not to mention President Trump late January directive to head the federal agency to terminate remote workers arrangements. He's already back walking at it, and requires employees to return to work in person on a full-time basis. 5 years on from the pandemic, and when the world showed how effective roles could be performed remotely, what caused the sudden change of heart? There are two things happening, says global industry analyst Josh Bersin, who is based in California. The economy is actually slowing down, so companies are hiring less, so there is a trend towards productivity in general. Then AI has forced virtually every company to relocate resources towards AI. That's a great point. That's a great point, because as the economy slows, you need to be able to become more resourceful with the current resources and also still keep a high productivity level to match those resources. But then you find out, before y'all get too comfortable, we have to also make sure our R&D stays up to pace with what everyone else is doing. That's a great point. As more companies return to the office, the interest of the idea of optimized workspaces is growing fast. According to SNS Insider early 2025 analysis, the connected office was worth $43 billion in 2023, will grow to $122.5 billion in 2032. Alongside the industry, ARC predicts that there will be $4.5 billion employee monitoring technology market, mostly in the North America by 2026, only issue being the crossover between the two blur at best. So I think that's fascinating that these companies have targeted America, because only in this Western world is this acceptable. In third world countries and other countries, it's totally fine. In India, this is per the course, but in America, that this is how they want to deal with Americans, and it speaks volume, because we Americans swear that they're so free, but literally, your boss is literally inviting Big Brother into your workspace. At the end of January, Logitech showed off a millimeter wave radar, the 5G, and radar spot sensor, which is designed to allow employees to monitor whether rooms are being used and which rooms in the building are used the most. A Logitech rep told The Verge the peel and stick device, which also monitors VOC temperature, humidity, and theoretically estimates the general placement of a place of people in a meeting room. Oh my God. And they just think that, oh, this is fine. This is fine. This is fine. Oh, this is a dickhead move. They swear this is fine. But like, my question is, and this is, I think, the thing that's the reoccurring question. If you have to go to this length, does your research prove this technology out to be useful? Let's say you're a company that makes $1 billion. You make so much money, you can literally you make so much money, and the people that work for you make so little money that the people who work for you are on food stamps, and the company you work for literally accepts those food stamps so those workers keep surviving. And you only give them a 3% discount on real money, not their food stamp money, right? Who am I kidding? You're Walmart, right? You're Walmart. You're the Waltz. You've been making so much money for years. And literally, whenever a Walmart shows up, every mom and pop shop starts to suffer. You are a cancer. How much more, like, I know the answer. Of course you're not making enough money. That's why you're doing this. But don't you think the people you have working for you who have made you this much money are giving it all they got? If I woke up with $1 billion and I looked on and I had to do this level of watchdog, I don't know. Some people don't understand money, and maybe I'm one of them, right? This is an extremely great article. You guys should read through it. I read through half of it. I plan on reading the rest of it afterwards, but I did want to highlight some things that I saw. The kind of monitoring extends to services workers, including servers, restaurants, and cleaning staff, according to 2023 Crackle Lab. So the previous part of this that I just scrolled back towards, they were trying to implement this into, like, so the way they came about this was like, oh, people walk around scanning things, boop, at Amazon factories, right? Boop, I get this, put this in my cart, boop, get this. And what happened was Amazon, being an analytical company, realized, oh, damn, some of these people be moving fast. And if we give certain people certain routes, they can move faster. Oh, wait, now we have a way, because every time they scan something, it lets us know exactly where they are in a point in time. And if you could figure out where someone is in a point in time, you could see how productive they were being. Okay, fast forward a little bit later. Now, what if we put a sensor in a place to see if certain people were moving and see how they're doing? And just know, this is the start. They're going to do it to the people they work for, that work for them, right? Because they can't fight it. But then they're going to start doing it to people who are just walking in the store, customers. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. When they started putting up those digital price tags, imagine a scenario where you walk into a store, your face gets captured on the camera, or your cell phone connects to the Wi-Fi, and they say, oh, Hero's in the store. We know everything he's bought in the last 2 years. And we know that if he's in the store for 20 minutes or longer, he is going to spend this much money. So we want to make sure that he is in the store for this much longer. And if he is, every aisle he goes to, we're going to increase the price by 30%, 30 cents. And they could do that. They could do that and get away with it. And I don't think there's a way of stopping them. Right? Report into retail and hospitality software developed by Oracle is used among the applications to rate and rank servers based on speed, sale time to keeping around breaks, and how many tips they receive. Similar Oracle software, the monitor mobile works, such as housekeepers, cleaners, and hotels uses timers and apps based on micromanagement. For instance, you have 2 minutes for this room, and there are 4 tasks for you to complete. That's crazy. It's definitely a trust issue. The fixes then might be in the leadership itself, not more data dashboards. Yeah, it's definitely a leadership thing. If you don't trust like your workers to do the work, then find more trustworthy people, or establish at least a bare minimum path of capacity. And for me, that's something I enjoy doing with people, because I don't enjoy micromanaging people. I enjoy paying people to do cool shit. So if I have to follow you, I don't want to know what you do. I don't care what you do, as long as that shit works when it's time for me to do what I need to do. But if you aren't invested in finding those people, which comes in the interview process, which comes in the resource management process, which comes into the taking care process, that's it. I literally told one of my workers the other day, like, hey, I heard you had surgery yesterday on your fucking molars. He's like, yeah, swelling's almost down. I said, hey, I need you to log the fuck off. He was like, oh, no, I can work. It's just a little bit of pain. Hey, I'm okay with you taking today off. Pay me back tomorrow. Come back when you're better. Because half of you isn't what I need. I need all of you. Right? And I said to him, he was in tears. I said, oh, don't worry, you'll get paid. But I don't need you. I don't need half of you. I need all of you. And that's that person, right? It's common decency, 1. But 2, I enjoy building credit with my employees. Yeah. I want them to give me the benefit of the doubt. So when I'm not looking and we need some shit to go through, I don't want them saying, oh, I work so hard. And I want them to think about, he did let me go that one time. Even if it was only one time. That's all I need. You don't get information from torturing people. You get information from people by pleasing them. All right? 2023 Pew Research. No. Our research shows that executive monitoring in the workplace can damage trust, have negative impact on morale, and cause stress and anxiety, says Hafia Mazidia, Senior Policy I fucked your name up, I'm so sorry. Senior Practice Advisor for Technology is CIPD, the UK professional body for HR learning and development. HR ain't your friend. Employers might achieve better productivity by investing in line manager training and ensuring employees feel supported with reasonable expectations around the office attendance, manageable workload. In 2023, Pew Research study found 56% of U.S. workers were opposed to the use of AI to keep track of them when working. Where their desks when they were working as, and 61% were against tracking employees' movements while they work. No shit. You wouldn't, if you told me there was someone following me 3 steps behind me, I'd punch that person. This dropped to just 51% of workers who were opposed to recording work done on the company computer through the use of a kind of corporate spyware often accepted by staff in the private sector. As Josh Bersin put, yes, the company can read your emails with platforms such as Turbine and includes sentiment analysis of employee messages. So that's another consensus, right? It should just be known that if you are doing anything on your computer that they gave you, they can see it. Any email you sent, any text messages, so you never do anything personal on your computer, right? You always keep it business professional. But also, it is used to build cases against you. It's not really used to monitor you, right? At the end of my yearly evaluation, as long as you're on good standings with your employee, they should never be pulling this out to say, you only typed 100 words in 1 minute this time. What were you doing the other? Like, that's not what they're using it for. But like, one thing I hate to see with this is also They'll then take all your records, digitize them, which is that Copilot plus PC with Windows now, right? They'll take all the stuff that you've done in the last 6 months, digitize it, have AI analyze it, and say, give a comprehensive of what you did. And when they fire you or let you go, they can say, hey, take me back to the time he did something like this and show me how you did it. And they have every keystroke you did in order to do it. Alternate realities. But what protections are out for employees? Certain states, such as New York and Illinois, shout out Illinois, do offer strong privacy protections against, for example, unnecessary biometric tracking. That's something that I also am totally against. If you're working for a company and they are like, oh, we need data for this study, your data isn't free. They are paying multi-million-dollar companies to get this. Please do not give it to them for free. If they do use your data, make sure you're getting compensated in some way. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. No matter how much I believe in a product, I'm never going to be the guinea pig for a product that I work for. Now, if you pay me, that's sure. We could talk about that. But yeah, don't. I hate seeing that happen, but it happens. Privacy Act covers workers as well as consumers overall, though the lack of federal level labor laws in this area makes the U.S. something of an alternate reality to what is legal in the UK and Europe. Electronic Communications Privacy Act of the U.S. allows employees to monitor for legitimate business reasons and with the workers' consent. Yeah, legitimate can be anything, and the consent is something that you probably signed without knowing. 2,000 staffs across 38 leisure centers around the country. This new guidance led to more companies reviewing and cutting the technology altogether, including Virginia's active with their symmetry of biometric employees monitoring. And usually that's how the government curtails this, by putting sanctions and requirements in there that are too cumbersome for the companies to keep up with. By saying you have to delete the information, you have to regulate it, it has to be audited. It takes more money. So they'll quit, they'll drop it. And what you'll find is they never really cared about your productivity. It was more so about keeping you in your place. It's a deterrent. It's not an accelerant. In December, for example, Boeing scrapped a pilot of employee monitoring at the office in Missouri and Washington, which was based on a system of infrared motion sensors. The ViewSir camera installed in the ceilings made by Ohio-based Aviat. A U-turn came after the Boeing employee leaked the internal PowerPoint presentation on the occupancy and headcount tracking technology to the Seattle Times. In a matter of weeks, the Boeing confirmed that the managers would be removing the sensors. So if it was all about productivity and we just want to know, but the moment it got out to the public, people were like, And then you change your mind. Occupied, now known as FM system, another type of under-the-desk heat and motion sensor, received a similar reaction from the staff at Barclay Bank, the Telegraph newspaper in London, with employees protesting and, in some cases, physically removing the device that tracked the time they spent away from their desk. Despite the fallout from the Barclay, later faced a $1.1 billion fine from the ICO when it was found to have deployed the Spices employee monitoring software in its offices with the ability to single out and track individual employees, which is against the rule. But also, this is also a thing because it's a form of pride. If you have a laptop that you take home with you for work, then now they can monitor you at home, right? So it's pierced the veil of workplace monitoring, and it evolves, right? Perhaps unsurprisingly, in the current climate, the same software company now offers lightweight devices level technology to monitor return to office policy compliance. Damn. So they're out here saying, did you swipe your card? Did you sit at your desk? That's crazy. They got a desk watcher. They're hiring someone to watch you at your desk. Specific department. So what's the manager do? According to Elizabeth Anderson's latest book, The Hijacked, while workplace surveillance culture and obsession with the measuring of employee efficiency might feel relatively new, it's actually traced back to the invention of the work ethic by Puritans in the 16th, 17th century. They thought that you should be working super hard. You shouldn't be idling around when you should be in work. She said, you can see some elements of that can be developed into a pretty hostile stance towards workers. The Puritans were obsessed with not wasting time. It was about gaining assurance of salvation through your behaviors. With the Industrial Revolution, the no wasting time became a profit maximizing strategy. Now you're at work 24/7 because they can get you on email. Damn, that's crazy. Because even though I wouldn't answer an email at work, I mean at home right now, if my phone went off and it was for an email, I would easily ignore it. But I would look at it. And that's not to say that I wouldn't act on it. But that's an interesting fact. Some key components of the original work ethic, though, have been skewed or lost over time. The Puritans also had strict constraints on what duties employers had towards their workers. Paying a living wage, that's definitely been lost to time. And providing safe and healthy work conditions, definitely not mentioned in the same breath. You couldn't just rule them tyrannically, or so they said. You had to treat them as your fellow Christians. Religion with dignity and respect. Sounds real Christian national like. In many ways, the original work ethic was an ethic which uplifted workers. That's a great way to close that out. Wow. Great article. I'm super interested to know what you guys think about this. I've given my input throughout it, but I just want to say, if you're getting the push to go back to work, find ways of setting up boundaries, but more importantly, understand that we all at the pizza party, man. Get your slice and sit your ass down, because we need you on the front lines.